Am I a horrible daughter? The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes even the smallest sounds seem important. I lay on a mattress on the basement floor, just outside my mother's bedroom. The hallway light crept in under the door, and I could hear the faint hum of the refrigerator upstairs. I wasn't supposed to be sleeping here, but I couldn't help it. My mother had been sick lately, her heart wasn't working right, her blood pressure was high, and she always seemed tired. Still, she kept working, pushing herself as if nothing was wrong. I worried about her, more than I could ever say. So I stayed nearby, just in case she needed me in the night. I watched the clock tick past midnight, then 1, then 2. I finally fell asleep after 4, only to wake up again at 6. The dogs needed to be let out, and I wanted to help before my mother woke up. It was the least I could do, a small way to show I cared. After the dogs were settled, I went back to sleep, exhaustion finally catching up with me. When I woke again, it was already 2 in the afternoon. Sunlight streamed through the small basement window, and I felt a pang of guilt for sleeping so late, but I reminded myself that I had been up all night worrying. Our house sat in the countryside, surrounded by open fields and a wide arena where our cattle wandered. It was peaceful, but there was always work to do. We had several dogs, but the 2 that mattered most to this story were the stubborn corgi and the energetic Akita. After lunch, I took the Akita out for a walk. He bounded ahead, tail wagging, nose to the ground, always eager for a new adventure. As we made our way around the arena, I saw the corgi rolling in the grass, looking as happy as could be. I called him, but he ignored me, as usual. The corgi had a mind of his own and a special love for rolling in anything smelly, especially cow manure. I shrugged and turned my attention back to the Akita. After a while, I rounded up all the dogs and brought them inside. I didn't think much about the corgi's antics. It was just another day in the life of a country dog. Later that afternoon, my mother came home from work. I was on the main floor, near the front door, when I noticed a strange smell. It was faint, but unpleasant. I sprayed some air freshener and went outside to help my mother with the groceries. She looked tired, her shoulders slumped under the weight of the bags and, maybe, the weight of her day. As soon as she got out of the car, she wrinkled her nose. "What's that smell?" she asked, her voice sharp with irritation. I shrugged. I only noticed it by the door. I wasn't near the dogs much today. But as we got closer to the house, the source of the smell became obvious. The corgi, now sitting innocently by the porch, reeked of cow manure. My mother's expression darkened. She started to complain, her voice rising. "This is what I come home to? After everything today, I have to deal with this." I tried to explain that I hadn't noticed the smell until just now, but she wasn't having it. She accused me of lying, of not paying attention, of being careless. I felt a familiar sting in my chest, that old guilt from childhood when I would sometimes lie to avoid her anger, or rush to complete chores I'd forgotten. My mother grabbed the garden hose and started washing down the corgi, scrubbing him with a force that made me wince. I offered to help, rolling up my pants legs and getting ready to take over, but she wouldn't let me. She kept scrubbing, muttering about how her clothes were ruined and how the neighbors would hear her complaining. She said I wasn't ready for college, that I was incompetent, that I always had my head in the clouds. She called me self-centered for not thinking ahead, for not being more responsible. I tried to help, but every word felt like another weight on my shoulders. I remembered being a kid, trying so hard to please her, but always feeling like I fell short. I remembered the times I'd lied to avoid her anger, or rushed to finish chores before she noticed. It was a pattern, one I couldn't seem to break. After the dog was clean, my mother went inside, slamming the door behind her. I stayed outside, drying the corgi as best I could. I could hear her yelling from inside, her voice muffled but still sharp. When I finally went in, I saw my phone buzzing with messages. She told me to put away the groceries, handle the dogs for the night, and grab all my stuff from the basement and bring it back to my room. So I did as I was told, moving quietly through the house, trying not to make any more mistakes. Now I'm sitting here in my bedroom, replaying the day in my mind. I know I've been a complicated kid. I've made mistakes, cost my parents money with things like cavities from forgetting to brush my teeth, and I haven't always been the most responsible. My mother threatening to give up isn't new, but this time it hurt more than usual. I keep wondering if I'm a terrible daughter, if I'll ever be good enough. I think about the past, about all the times I tried to do the right thing but somehow ended up making things worse. I remember the times I tried to help, only to be told I wasn't doing it right. I remember the times I stayed up late worrying about my mother, wishing I could make her life easier, but never knowing how. I remember the times I lied, not because I wanted to, but because I was scared of her anger. I remember the times I tried to fix things at the last minute, hoping she wouldn't notice my mistakes. It's a cycle I can't seem to escape. But I also remember the good times. I remember laughing with my mother over silly things the dogs did. I remember helping her in the garden, planting flowers and pulling weeds. I remember the pride in her eyes when I brought home a good grade, or when I helped out without being asked. I remember the quiet moments, sitting together on the porch watching the sun set over the fields. Those moments remind me that our relationship isn't all bad, even if it feels that way sometimes. I know my mother is struggling. Her health is fragile, her job is stressful, and she carries a lot of worry on her shoulders. I wish I could take some of that burden from her, but I don't always know how. Sometimes, it feels like no matter what I do, it's never enough. I want to be a good daughter, to make her proud, but it's hard when I feel like I'm always falling short. I wonder if other people feel this way. Do other daughters worry about disappointing their parents? Do they lie to avoid conflict, or try to fix things at the last minute? Do they feel guilty for things that aren't really their fault? I don't know. Maybe I'm not as alone as I think. Tonight, as I sit in my room, I try to remind myself that I'm doing my best. I'm not perfect, but I care. I worry about my mother, I try to help around the house, and I love our dogs, even when they get into trouble. I make mistakes, but I learn from them. I'm growing up, and that means figuring things out as I go. I don't know if I'll ever be the daughter my mother wants me to be. Maybe I'll always be a little bit complicated, a little bit messy, a little bit unsure. But I hope that someday, she'll see that I'm trying. I hope she'll understand that I love her, even when we fight. I hope she'll forgive me for the times I've let her down. For now, I'll keep doing what I can. I'll help with the dogs, I'll try to be more responsible, and I'll keep worrying about my mother, even if she never knows it. I'll keep trying to be a better daughter, one day at a time. And maybe that will be enough.